What is up, all of my horror fanatics out there? Welcome back to Late Night Frights. I'm the Late Night Frights sort of leader, the Jay Sloan or Jordan, back here to do another video for you. And as always, guys, I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. Last week we did a theme, and if you haven't checked it out, we did our sci-fi theme, so I would highly recommend going and checking that out if you haven't. It was a great week all around. So doing a theme last week, of course, we are moving on to horror battles this week. And the two films I chose to battle are, I guess you could say they're thriller films with horror aspects thrown in. So both of these films have horror elements to them, so I decided it would be a very cool battle. I love both of these films, and they are Death Valley versus Far From Home. Okay, so as always, before I dive into the battle, I'm going to be reviewing both of these films very briefly, and then I will battle them to the death. Now, I'm going to start off by reviewing Death Valley. Okay, so Death Valley was made in 1982. It was directed by Dick Richards, starring Peter Billingsley, Catherine Hicks, and Paul Le Mat. And the basic story around this one follows a kid named Billy. And Billy's parents recently got divorced, and it's very confusing to him. I mean, he's a young kid. He doesn't understand why they got divorced or why they're not living with each other anymore. And so it's a tough time for Billy. And of course, he's played by Peter Billingsley, who did a really good job, especially for this being his film debut as a kid. Also, Catherine Hicks in there, she is the mother of Billy, and she's very lonely. She needs some companionship, some friendship, and she decides to go on a vacation. And she decides to go visit one of her ex-boyfriends, and she takes Billy along the ride, basically. She takes Billy with her, and hoping to introduce him to this guy. Maybe they'll like each other. Maybe this could go somewhere in the future. Her being with this man, if Billy will accept him. Of course, Billy's not having it. He's not liking this guy, obviously. He feels like he's trying to replace his father, and it's just not working, which any kid at that age is going to feel that way when their mother or father starts seeing someone new after a divorce. So he feels that way, and he's very, just short, has an attitude with the guy who's played by Paul Le Mat, who does a really good job. And so we see that, and when they're on vacation, they go to Death Valley. And basically, they let Billy just roam around, which is very strange. He's just like a little 5 or 6-year-old kid, maybe if that. Let him roam around Death Valley, and he finds this RV. Now, basically, what had happened to the people in this RV is they got slaughtered by an unknown person. And he finds this RV. He doesn't see the bodies. They're actually put up to where he can't see them. They're hidden. But he finds something, a little golden necklace of a little frog. So he takes it. He basically steals it. And later on, that RV is pulled up by the sheriff in that town. And the sheriff is basically asking for any information on what might have happened. And he goes up to the sheriff and basically gives the little frog to the sheriff and says, I found this. And he gives all the info that he knows. And it's not good because the person who killed those people finds out that young Billy knows he killed those people, and he knows that it is one of them. So it's basically like a slasher. It has a lot of slasher elements to it. The killer in the film, there's a little twist which I won't get into, but it's a really, really good film. The acting is done so well. I loved it, from start to finish. It was just a good film. It was well acted, well directed, and like I said, the slasher elements for me was a plus. Peter Billingsley's character, I felt so bad for him at certain times, like in the beginning of the film with his actual father. I felt bad for him there, and I could buy into his acting, especially for him being that young. It was just cool to see him like that. Him being so young and very new to acting in his debut film, but doing a really good job. And the killer in this was creepy as hell. I'm not going to spoil anything, but he was just a creepy person. And it's a good movie from start to finish. I mean, definitely check it out. The acting's good. It's very suspenseful. It doesn't really rely on blood, guts, and gore. Like I said, it was made in 1982. So it doesn't really rely on that, but it relies on suspense. I mean, it has some good kills here and there, but it's definitely well acted and well directed, and I would highly recommend Death Valley. Okay, so now I'm going to review Far From Home. So Far From Home was made in 1989. This film starred Matt Frewer, Richard Masur, Drew Barrymore, Andres Jones, Anthony Rapp, and Jennifer Tilly. Now, I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of those names. There were some really weird last names in that casting list. All well-known actors, though. I've seen all of them in different films. But the basic plot around this one follows a character named Jolene, and it's played by Drew Barrymore. Now, from the get-go, we see that she has been driving cross-country with her father on her summer vacation, I believe, and it is very clear that she has not enjoyed herself. She cannot wait to get back to the city. Her parents are split up, so she cannot wait to get back home to her mother, and she is just not enjoying her time with her father. So when they are almost home, they actually get stranded in the desert with no gas, and the gas station they go to is out of gas, so they have to wait on it to cut, more gas. And while they do this, they cannot just stay out in the sun, so they decide to go to the nearby trailer park and rent a little camper to stay in, and things just pick up from there. Basically, Jolene meets two characters played by Andres Jones, sorry if I pronounced his name wrong, and Anthony Rapp, and the two characters are Jimmy and Pinky, and she is really attracted to both of these characters. She really, obviously, she's a teenager, she's 14 years old, it's actually her birthday in the film, and she's seeing things that she likes about both of these guys, but also things that she is very terrified of from both. So there's weird things going on with both of the guys, and the entire film is that main focus. Who is who, basically. There's a serial killer lurking in the park, in the trailer park, and who is it? And it's basically like a whodunit kind of thing. Who is the serial killer? It's basically a suspense thriller, but it has horror aspects thrown in, and also slasher aspects thrown in as well. Really good film. The acting in it was done really well. Obviously, Drew Barrymore at a young age, she's a big star, probably the biggest one in this film. Richard Masur did a really good job. I forgot his name though, but he was the weird gas station guy. And Matt Frewer as her father, great job. Andres Jones, who's actually in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Master. That's my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street film out of the franchise. So he did a really good job in this one as Jimmy, and Anthony Rapp as Pinky. And Jennifer Tilly was in it for a little bit. I don't want to say anything about her character because it wasn't really major. I don't want to say, what happens. But overall, it's a good film. Definitely check it out. I enjoyed it. I think it was like an hour and 28 minutes long, an hour and 29 minutes. Not that long, but I enjoyed it from start to finish, the full runtime. And I had a fun time watching this movie, so definitely check it out. Good thriller with a bunch of different aspects and elements thrown in, horror elements, slasher elements, all thrown in one big bundle, and it is a good film. So that is my review over Far From Home. Okay, so now that I've reviewed both films, it is time to battle them to the death. Round 1, kills. Which film do I think have better kills? Now, neither of these films were fully focused on kills or a body count, but, if I had to pick which one I think had better kills, it would have to go to Death Valley. I think the kills in this were better executed, and the way they did it, like I said, Death Valley felt more like a slasher, whereas Far From Home felt more like a thriller. So yeah, I'd have to say the kills were a lot better in Death Valley. Round 2, story and originality. Which film do I think had a better story and was more original? Now, both had great stories. Like I said, I had a lot of fun watching both films, and I liked the stories a lot. But if I'm going to have to pick just one, I'm going to go with Death Valley. I think Death Valley had a really interesting and intriguing story, and it just captured me from start to finish. And so round 2 goes to Death Valley. Okay, so my usual round 3 is blood, guts, and gore. But seeing as neither of these films really focused on blood, guts, or gore, I felt that it would be unfair to battle them on that round. So I've decided to change up the round for this video only. And the round that I'm changing it to is twist endings. Now, both of these films, the endings to them have minor twists. I mean, nothing like Sleepaway Camp. Something that you can really see, but some people may not see them at the same time. So I'm going to rate them on which one had the better twist ending. Now, Death Valley, it was a good twist. It was kind of seen coming, throughout the film. There was talks about someone, else. I'm not going to spoil that. But Far From Home. Now, my first viewing of this, which was 2 or 3 years ago, I did not know, what it was going to be. I did not know the ending. I was dead set on the the fake ending that they had about the person who was committing the crimes and the person who did kill all those people. There was something off about two characters in Far From Home, but I didn't see it coming. It was something that I should have seen coming, but it was good in the fact that it didn't. I didn't see it coming because, like I said, I usually see twist endings from a mile away. But this one, for some reason, I just didn't see that at all. But, you know, rewatching it, obviously I knew the ending. But the first viewing, I would have to say Far From Home took this round because it did have a better twist ending to it. So, yeah, Far From Home takes round 3. Round 4, personal enjoyment and replayability. Which film do I personally enjoy more, and which one would I pop in right now? Now, this is a very hard round, guys, because I really enjoy both films a lot. I mean, great cast, great storyline, very underrated. But if I have to pick one, I'm going to have to say that I like Death Valley a little bit more than Far From Home. Death Valley had a great cast, like I said, Peter Billingsley, Catherine Hicks, Paulie Mott. Great cast all around. Did a great job. Everyone did. The directing, spot on. The setting was great. The vibe with all the slasher elements mixed in, that was awesome. And just overall a great film in general. I would highly recommend it to anyone. Even if you're not a horror fan, you're going to like this film. It throws in different problems. You know, it's not just like a full, sorry, I got tongue-tied, a full-blown horror film or a thriller. There's other problems in there with Peter Billingsley, and his parents' divorce and everything that he's going through. It's just a good film overall, so I'd highly recommend Death Valley. Also, guys, check out Far From Home. It's another good thriller. I really enjoyed watching it. It had a great cast. The directing was good. Setting was good. Very underrated, and I would highly recommend it as well. But it has been defeated by Death Valley. Death Valley has came out victorious. It has taken the cake, and that is my horror battle over Death Valley versus Far From Home. Okay, I want to thank everyone once again for tuning in. You just watched my battle over Death Valley versus Far From Home. Obviously, Death Valley has won this one, but comment in the box down below and tell me which one you prefer, which would win in your battle. Do you like Death Valley or Far From Home better? I'm really curious and interested to hear everyone's opinions on both of these films. So, yeah, thanks for watching. You just watched Late Night Frights. Stay tuned. Tomorrow, Chris Brock will be battling 2 films of his choice, and that will continue throughout the week with all of the members. I'm the Jay Sloan. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe. As always, guys, keep it horror. Peace.